everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday night knit chat. Tuesday night already.
I know. And I literally blew in here 30 seconds ago. So
but we're here. We're here.
I need a minute to settle.
Okay. Then I'll tell everybody about us. Okay. So my name is Noelle, and this is my friend Kelly, and we are a knitting podcast from Southwestern Ontario, Canada. This is our Tuesday night knit chat where we get together with all of our friends and share what we're working on and maybe some knitty tips. And I kind of go through some of the comments and things from previous last week. And if there's any questions, we go through them. We do occasionally have regular episodes, but it seems more lately it's been just Tuesday nights. And we do show you what we're working on in our finished projects and all that on Tuesdays. And it's nice to have that kind of instant feedback when we've got people talking to us right here.
Absolutely. So, put our names.
Oh yeah, we should probably say, before I say everything, can everybody see us and hear us?
Yes. Key. Okay. Very key. Okay.
So I haven't seen you for since last Tuesday, really.
I know, but I just went home last night. So we were in BC. We went out just for a long weekend. We went out Thursday morning, and we visited with the kids. They're in their new house. They moved to Chilliwack, do we have anybody in here from Chilliwack? Because I have to say, man, you are living in some beautiful, beautiful country. Noelle, it's gorgeous. Every window you look out of, they have mountains, like beautiful snow-covered mountains. It's absolutely gorgeous there. And they have 3 yarn stores.
Well, did you go to all 3?
I didn't go to any. I didn't go to any. They, their hours don't seem to be as, what's the word? The city itself doesn't seem to be open as much as some of the hours that we're used to. They have shorter hours. But
I think I think that since the pandemic, a lot of places are not open as many hours as they used to be because people have gotten more used to shopping online.
Yes.
So, but anyway, you'll get there sometime.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going back. Anyway, so we got lots of time outside too. It was a fairly decent weekend. My ear's still a little plugged from the airplane. So everything between having this in my ear and this feeling plugged. Anyway, we had some time outside. I cannot wait for it to be even a little bit of warmer weather there. It's going to be fantastic. And I've just one picture to share with everybody, just because I was wearing some knitty things. So I'll show that off. Where did I put it? There it is. This is Miles and I at Jade Park. Some mountains in the background. This is going to be a beautiful park in the summer.
It's gorgeous.
And, they have a boat launch there. There's lots of fly fishing. They have an equestrian park and a dog, like a confined area for 2 different sizes of dogs there. So I can assure you that nowhere near us do we have both a dog park and a horse park all in the same place. No. So I'm really looking forward to spending time out there. Miles is super, super busy right now. His little feet are taking him everywhere, and it took all 4 of us to catch him. He's so fast. So so that was my weekend, and we're back safe and sound, back to work today, although I was a little bit late because it's a 3-hour time change, friends. I just needed a little extra hour of sleep. So, yeah.
Well, what I did I just started on the weekend? I think I started Sunday, was organizing my yarn, and all the stuff that I haven't put away. And honestly, I don't.
It takes a long time.
But I don't very often feel that overwhelmed by it, but I'm starting to feel overwhelmed by it. I'm just this is just, I need to knit some of this stuff up. So I'm really, really going to try this year I'm not saying I'm not going to buy anything, but I'm really going to try to cut down on buying.
Yes. And you know what? I have to say, even though I was out there and I knew there were yarn stores, I wasn't super craving to go. I wanted to go and check them out. I will definitely go back next
Mhm.
when I'm there. Um, but I didn't feel that there was anything I needed. And I worked on everything that I had was just like stash projects. I took some whips along with me. Somebody pointed out that in the photo I was wearing my night shift shawl, and tonight you're wearing your
I'm wearing my shift cowl.
shift cowl.
Shift, yeah, the shift. This is
The
the
shift.
shift.
And truly funny how tonight neither one of us wore sweaters, but we both wore a scarf of some sort, and we didn't talk
Yes.
about that before.
Yes.
So maybe we should talk
Okay,
about
well,
what we're wearing now.
what we're wearing. Yes. Okay. So, as I said, this is the shift, and I do have a banner for it. It is by Andrea Mowry. And this was knit in the Shoppa Wool Edition 3, which we talked a little bit about last week because I had used it as the accent color in the Bumble hat. And we have talked about this yarn before because it is a wonderful substitute for spin cycle dyed in the wool.
Mm-hmm.
It comes in 50-gram balls. It comes in lots of colors. I'm just going to pop up. Yeah, I'm going to pop up a picture there so you can see the colors better in the shift. And those are 3 colors of the edition 3, the Shoppa Wool edition 3. Pretty much I used almost all of the 3 colors. And like when you look at those skeins, I think they're $17 or $18 a skein, as compared to in Canada, the spin cycle dyed in the wool is upwards of $42 a skein. So it's a lot more affordable to use. And it comes in gorgeous colors and it looks very similar. Mm-hmm. So spin cycle may have more colors, but everybody can't afford to use. I mean, I love the spin cycle too, and I have used it a little bit, but it's especially when you're getting into doing a full garment or a whole sweater in it, it can get quite cost prohibitive. So mm-hmm. I really like how this cowl fits. It's just easy. You just throw it on over your head. We know we've done this shift knit along before, and I love this pattern. It's so meditative and rhythmic, and you just get into a groove knitting it. And yeah, so
it's this is what the yarn looks like, the Shoppa edition 3. It comes in these, I didn't wind this is how it comes, so you mm-hmm. can see there like just how many variations. There's a pretty little green pop of green in there buried. There's all sorts of colors. It's beautiful yarn.
So definitely would recommend it. Mm-hmm. So, okay. And Kelly, you're wearing?
I'm wearing, is it the Sophie scarf? I don't even know. The Sophie.
Yes, it's a Sophie scarf.
A Sophie? So get my hair out of the way here. Gosh. It's been a day. Okay. It's just been a day. So it's a very long, skinny little scarf. And this one is knit in Wellington fibers.
Yep.
And I gave you the ball band. So
yeah, it's got, I think it was, I can't
remember.
Yeah, it's got mohair in it. I can't remember what the percentage was.
But this is very soft. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you can see. Don't look at my gray hair, but there we go. It's got some loft in there from the mohair. And this, we had, were they 100-gram skeins? Yes, because I gave you.
Yes.
So you could get 2 Sophie scarves from one of them.
One skein,
and,
yes. And you held it double.
I held it double. Mm-hmm. Did I really knit it at all? That's the question. It's a pretty color. I have this one, and then I have one in like a bright berry, and I like just that little pop of color that you can get around your neck. Yeah, I like everything about it. It's soft. It's cozy. It's not keeping me warm. It's not doing anything. But today, I just thought
it does actually. When you've got something because I find when I wear mine and I put it around my neck, and it's surprising that you can get a little bit of warmth from that. And I usually wear mine wrapped double and then just have the little tiny.
Yes. Yep.
So, and depending on what it's knit in, because like I did one in my hand spun and it's a merino silk bamboo, and I find it quite warm, but it was an actual DK weight. Whereas this one, yours, and some of the ones that I've done is a fingering held double. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah. So I was looking through, there's some ideas here of some of the yarns that people have used instead of spin cycle. So the Cascade Heritage Wave is one. And that is a yarn. Yes,
Yes.
that's a yarn by Cascade, and it originally came in the fingering weight, but it now also comes in a worsted weight version, and that is a good substitute. And other people said they use their hand spun, and that's fine if you spin, because a lot of times the spin cycle yarn does resemble kind of a hand spun, the way the colors barber pull together. So yeah, so those are good ideas for that. And Noro yarns are actually a good, although some of the Noro yarns start to get a little bit expensive too, but they are a little bit less expensive than spin cycle. So okay, so before we go any further, there were some questions, and there were some things that we discussed last week that people have given us some ideas on. So the first was, last week we were talking about, I was wearing my hipster light, or lightweight hipster. And we were talking about that garter tab, the garter tab bump that you get when you start with the garter tab cast on. So I had a few people gave me some good ideas, and I've got some pictures here of just some of the websites that they had. So here was one, and this is a tale of two shawls. It's a pattern by Mary Annarella. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. So you can see there, the top one where she's done the regular garter stitch tab, and you can see how you get that little bump there. And I haven't looked at this. I haven't checked it out. These are just some ideas. So maybe people can tell us whether or not it worked or whether they used it. But you can definitely see that bottom one. You do not see that bump in the middle of that shawl.
Absolutely. Yes, that's right.
So, and that's if you just go on to Ravelry and you look up that Tale of Two Shawls by Mary Annarella, then this will pop up. And I do believe that then you can click on it and there's a PDF that you can go through. So that was one. And then there were a couple of YouTube sites. So let me just take this one off. Okay, so this was one. This is how to knit a bump-free garter tab. So again, if you just typed this into YouTube, it'll bring up this. You can see here they've got looks like a crescent shawl done there, and you don't see any garter stitch bump at the top of that shawl.
No, not at all.
No, and then there was one more website that was recommended, and this one is Start a Crescent Shawl from a Garter Tab. And again, you can see there. Again, you'll have to go through and look at it. These were just suggestions that were given to me. I'm not working on a garter tab at the moment, so I didn't go through and look at it, but I will link those in the show notes too, so that you can just click on them and go to them. But I want to thank the viewers that have sent me that information. There were a few more too about specific patterns that had that. I haven't had time to check that out yet to see whether or not they're free patterns or whether it's a paid for pattern. But yeah, so those are some resources that you can use, and from the looks of the pictures there, it looks like it should work. So I will definitely go back and try some of those next time I start a shawl that starts with a garter tab. So
we have just a question before you carry on. Somebody said that they wanted to knit one of the shift patterns, but they want to know how to pick out colors.
Well, if it's the shift cowl, she tells you to get a dark, a medium, and a light.
Yes. Yes. So I was going to say, you definitely need a range of contrast in there. So you could choose just colors that appeal to you within that range. Don't be afraid if the skein has like a certain little pop in there. Like for instance, if these were your colors, but this bright little green wasn't, don't be afraid of the pop of color. It's not going to be, when you're using a mosaic with this barber pull yarn, nothing is going to stick out as being like an in-your-face color. You'd be surprised how you could take two things that you may not think even went together, but they really work well together when you're using the patterns, the shift patterns. So just play. And you could always do a little bit of a sample too and see if it's something that you like the way it looks.
Color is subjective, so nobody could really tell you how to pick out colors, because what I like might not be what you like. And one thing that you can also do, especially if it's a pattern that has a lot of projects on Ravelry, go through and see what people have used. And oftentimes that information will be in there. And I mean, if I put something on Ravelry, I don't care if somebody goes in and likes my colors and does it in exactly the same color. Like that's you can go through and you can look at those. And if you really like someone's, you can actually jot down what the color numbers are. So anyway, okay. So second question I had was about Slow, and that is a color by Holstgarn, and about it bleeding.
It's this color right behind my head. A really, really deep color.
It is. And it does bleed. Okay, I have done a couple of sweaters using slow. One of them was a pattern where I held 2 strands of slow together, and it was a pattern at the yoke that was in hand spun. So what I did, I tried to run water over the bottom of the cardigan that had most of the color in it, because only the top was a different color, to get as much as I could out before I soaked the whole sweater. Now, the very first sweater that I did with Holst Garn was Oxford gray, and then it had colors up here. And when I soaked it, that water was black. It was black, but I had washed white or ecru up in the top, and it did not change the color of that at all.
No.
Now, I'm not saying, like
That it
take for
won't.
granted that's right. I'm not saying take for granted that the slow's not going to do that. I haven't found it, but again, I try to get as much out of the bottom, if that's the type of sweater it is, before I soak it. And then when I do soak a sweater in Holst and I see that color bleeding out, I'll dip it in, take it out, keep changing the water until it's very minimal before I actually soak it for the amount of time before I wring it out. And if you've got color catchers, put color catchers in the water.
Yes. And I have to say, when I worked with it, it did not bleed onto my hands. I don't know what your experience was, but I didn't get that. And I have definitely gotten that from other yarns, but it did not bleed out onto my hands.
Working with Cloudberry right now, and I do find it's bleeding out onto my hands, but I have done a sweater with Cloudberry in it, and when I soaked it, that color didn't transfer to any of the other colors. But again, I don't know what somebody else is soaking it in. Your water could have a different pH than my water.
You could be using a different something different to soak it in.
That's right. So, and if you're really unsure and if you're really worried about it, then the best thing is to wash your yarn first.
Yes.
So I know nobody wants to do that. I know you want to get started on your project, but you don't want to get finished the whole project and then find out that it's ruined because you didn't take the time to wash some of that dye out first.
Exactly.
So, okay. So the next thing
have you ever washed a yarn first? I never have. Have you?
I've not washed it. Yes, I did actually. I was using, it was a really dark, it was a color that was like the slow from Leo and Roxy, and it was their natural sock yarn, and it was that deep color. And I did wash the skeins first because it was going with some other lighter colors. And I thought, well, I had the time. I wasn't starting it immediately. I thought I'm going to wash it just to be, because if anything, that color is notorious in lots of different yarns. It must be whatever that dye is, like that deep red burgundy that just does seem to bleed out. Now, when I washed the Leo and Roxy, I did get some out of it, but the yarn maintained its vibrancy in the color. So, but that's the only time that I can recall doing that. With Holst, it's even an additional step because you would basically have to put your yarn into a skein first and then wash it. So,
there's another question here before you carry on.
Okay.
She wants to know if a garment knitted with cotton yarn will shrink after blocking like a normal cotton fabric would.
If you put it in the washer and dryer, it will.
It will, for sure.
Yeah.
But I also find too, like with cotton, sometimes it feels like it has shrunk, but after you wear it for a while, just like a regular cotton sweater that you would buy, like a pre-made cotton sweater, it does loosen back up and stretch out in its shape as well. But
I would say, like I do, I weave my tea towels in 100% cotton, and I probably get 30% shrinkage on those. And once they have shrunk to that, you are not stretching that tea towel back to the original shape. No. But I mean, those are designed so that they do that to tighten up the fabric.
Yes.
So I do think you need to be careful with cotton yarns. And if you do find it has stretched a little, if you are going to put it in the dryer, you're probably only going to do it for like a minute or so increments at a time to make sure that you don't really shrink that fabric. And of course, it is going to behave differently too if it's combined with another fiber as opposed to 100% cotton. So the next thing that we were talking about last week was our little tightening tool that we got from Elgin Knitworks. Okay, so someone did say that Lantern Moon does have a tool like that, but I couldn't find anywhere where you could buy it just on its own. But when you buy their interchangeable cords, and again, I don't have any Lantern Moon needles, so I don't know whether or not their cords are interchangeable with other brands.
I did do a little bit of a deep search on that. Well, not really deep, I guess. It took me a few minutes. It does say that it is interchangeable with all of the other Knitter's Pride needles.
Okay.
So I was actually going to order a set from somewhere just to see if that's the case, because I do have a lot of Knitter's Pride needles and I don't mind the cords, but that tool is pretty spectacular. I'd like to have more than one. So I was going to order a cord, and I can report back on that when I get them.
Yep. Yep. Because it did look like the tool came with their interchangeable cords. Now, I also had a tip that was a really good tip from, I can't remember who it was, but it was someone that had emailed me, and I had my little pin here to show you, but just a minute. So you know how, like, even when you've got the tightening tool, like sometimes it's really tight to get your needle twisted on tight enough or to get it back off.
Right.
Right. And just a minute, I'm going to go grab my pin. Oh.
She's gone. I'm going to pop this question up before she comes back. Reknit says that she found alpaca from Knitpicks that matches the slow perfectly. Please tell me what color that is. I have to know. From Knitpicks, alpaca from Knitpicks that matches slow perfectly. Yes. Let me know the color and the name of the yarn, please. Okay. She's back.
I'm back. Oh, and I found my pin. It was sitting here. I knew I got it out. It was just hidden by my microphone case. Okay, so I've just got my regular pin here that comes with like the Chaigu needles. So when you're tightening, like you put it into the little hole. And this is a little tool that I had gotten when I got a set of Haya needles. So it's like a little rubber grip. So it's easy to just hold onto it, and you can twist either way to either make it tighter or make it looser. But if you don't have those, and I think some places you can buy things like that, but someone suggested if you take, and they just dropped it. Just a minute. Sorry. Okay. So
at least it's not balls you're dropping this week.
No. These are these are like the thick elastics that you get off your broccoli or whatever. Some of the vegetables, when you buy them, it might be wrapped around the stems.
Yes.
Well, it's going to work just as well. You just got to grab onto it, and I'll do the same thing. And you probably have lots of those laying around. So like you could stick them in all your little notions pouches. And so this is not my, my tool from Elgin Knitwork. It's just the pin that comes with the Chaigu. But then if you grab these, I thought, wow, because like I'm always looking for that. I've only got 2 of these, and I'm afraid I'm going to lose them. So, because I do use them, and they do really help to tighten up your needles. But I thought that with the elastics was an amazing idea because they're so easily available. They don't cost anything, and they work. So thanks for that tip.
You know what else you could probably use too? I've seen it. Like some people get it. It's like the non-slip. What is the word I'm trying to say? You can buy them in sheets, and then you cut it to the size that you want. Yeah, like for doing lids or for putting under something that you don't want to slide, you could just cut, little squares of that and throw that in your knitting bag as well.
But these are basically free.
Free.
So
and free is good because free.
So I thought that was a great idea. So, okay. And someone else had asked, they wanted us to do a tutorial on 3-color helical knitting. I have never done 3-color helical knitting. I have only ever done helical knitting with either 2 colors or 2 strands of the same yarn. So I don't know anything about it. I've never tried it. I don't know if anybody on here might have some advice or some tutorials. Again, if you pop it in there, I'll look at that for next week and see if I can pop a tutorial in there. But I don't think you've ever done it either, have you, Kelly, with 3 colors?
No, only 2.
So
I've done more than 2 yarns, but that's because I was holding 2 yarns with something else. So that's still like only working with 2 yarns, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm not sure if anybody has done that.
Okay.
So
I'm trying to catch up on comments. Klaska says,
I'm glad you're doing that because honestly, I need different glasses. I cannot even see them.
Okay. Klaska says that yes, those cords are interchangeable with Knitter's Pride. She uses them all the time. Okay. Somebody also said that they are interchangeable with Licca needles as well, if you have those. And Mary mentions, somebody else, Lynn says that she uses that rubbery drawer liner, cut off a little piece. That's what I was thinking. So there we go. Good. And Mary says, Kelly, you're a nighttime knitter. How do you knit on really dark yarns? Well, I save that for my daytime knitting, Mary. I I have a really good light that sits behind me. Unfortunately, like it's from IKEA. There's not even any point talking about it because IKEA no longer sells it. But maybe you could find something similar. It's a light pole, like a super bendy thing with just a tiny,
a super bendy
a
thing. I
super
know.
bendy thing. Oh my gosh,
That's the technical term.
The technical terms. Look for a lamp with a super bendy thing. No, so it has a base, and then you can bend the neck to any shape you want. But the light bulb itself is like no bigger than this little tube of lip gloss, and I kind of position that behind my back, pointing over my shoulder, and that way it's like bright right on my hands, but not on a big other surface. I can use that to knit on dark yarns. I have a hard time even in the daytime using a dark yarn. Like if what I'm using is the yarn is dark, but then like, okay, for instance, if I'm upstairs and I'm knitting near my patio doors, I can't knit facing the patio door because then the brighter light is like behind my project.
Yeah.
I need to have the light coming like onto the project. So it's funny that you mentioned that, Mary, because I was just thinking tonight when I was getting ready, wouldn't it be nice to have an actual black sweater? I don't want to knit it, but I'd really like to have one. And, just a basic, like probably like just a very simple raglan shape, or maybe like a boat neck style, just that wardrobe staple that would go with everything. But I'm thinking, gosh, I wouldn't want to knit it, but I would really like it when I have it.
Like I knit a black lace shawl in fingering weight yarn.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, I had to work on it in the daytime. I couldn't work on it at night. Like you almost needed like daylight.
Yes.
So, but.
Okay. Oh, Emma says that this is a good one too. She uses a piece from a rubber glove to tighten her needles. That's very clever too. Very clever.
Yep.
I am so far behind. I'm still looking to see if Reknit got me the color. Did she get me?
Okay. So the last comment was about the rounded toe again, because we talk about that quite often. So for the rounded toe, if you go to our Let's Talk Socks video, underneath that, not even in the show notes, just underneath it, directly linked underneath it, I have written out the rounded toe, and that it is for top down. If you do it in reverse, then basically you're going to start with that number of stitches and do the shaping just in the opposite direction. So, and Kelly, if you want to write yours out, we can put it in. I think the only difference is that yours is more shallow than mine.
Yes. Yeah. They're pretty similar. Pretty similar. Victoria had a good idea for working on dark yarn. She said that she puts a white pillowcase on her lap. That's a really good idea too.
And you know what that is? Because that's something that I do when I'm spinning. Because if the yarn's too close to the color of my jeans, it's hard to see. Like you need to put something underneath so that the fiber pops out against it. So yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay.
So
Fran is asking if we can spell the name of the yarn that is similar to Spin Cycle. I'll put this tab up again for you, Fran. I'm just looking to see. There's the best. So it's called Schopel Edition 3. Okay. SCHOPPEL Edition 3.
And then I think it's if you're looking for it specifically, if you type in, it's that Schopel and then WOLLE. Like wool, Schopel wool.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even if you just typed in Edition 3, Edition 3, it'll come up. Trust me. Okay.
Okay.
I'm getting down there.
Okay. So
Marianne knit a black sweater in the summer.
Yes.
Maybe Marianne would knit me a sweater.
And Kim says that Feederbrook Farm is a good substitute for a Spin Cycle, and it is. I had picked up some Feederbrook Farm back, I think it was in 2017 or 18 when I went to Rhinebeck, and that was, I do believe that Espace Tricot in Canada now carries it, but I had picked it up at Rhinebeck, and yeah, it's a nice yarn. I'm not sure what weights it all comes in. I know that the weight that I got was a DK weight, and some of these ones that we're talking about here are a little bit lighter weight. Like the Schopel, I believe, is about a sport weight. So,
okay, Julia has put in here. I'm not going to put it up because it's a lot to read, Julia. But can you send me that in a message, and then we can add that to the show notes? She's got a 3 contrast color helical description.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then we can add
Okay.
that, or
To the show
actually
notes.
send it to Noelle, if you don't mind, Julia, and then she will add it to the show notes. And then maybe maybe we can do a tutorial for somebody. Okay.
Okay. So did you finish anything?
I did. I'm on a secret mission. Okay,
Finish
so
something?
if I tell you what it is, it's not secret anymore. It was a secret up until.
Well, if it's finished.
No. I'm on a secret whip mission. In my head, it was called a whip a week because I've got
that
lots.
you were gonna finish a whip a week.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So, but now that I've said it, it's not a secret, and also I'm not committing to it too strongly. But I did finish something last week that was an ongoing whip. And this week I finished something that has been kind of languishing since early December because I tend to have cast on itis, that I just want to cast on all the things. I don't necessarily want to finish the things, but I want the things finished. So my whip.
I cast on three things this week.
Okay, I also flew across the country this week, Noelle, and I chased.
No, but I said I wasn't going to cast on anything.
You said you weren't going to cast on anything. I know. I can't help myself. I just can't. But I said I've said this to myself. Like I said, I'm not holding myself to it, but I'd be really thrilled with myself if I could finish, because I've got lots of little projects going that there's absolutely no reason they're not finished. So I want to focus on getting one of those little things. So I finished my work socks.
They look amazing.
These look amazing. I know. I'm sorry. Toot my own horn. They look amazing. They feel more amazing. These
now I want that yarn, and I'm not supposed to buy any yarn. I'm supposed to knit out of stash.
I love these. These are like right on par with my work socks from Leo and Roxy, but they're in a taupey color because, a lot of the work sock patterns are the gray, which I love, but sometimes you need like that taupe that goes with everything. And before people ask, no, these are not for my husband. These are definitely for me. So I used, and I meant to grab the ball bands, which are not beside me. They're on the other table. Sorry about that.
I just have to go turn my iPad off. Sorry.
You've got a show to run here, lady. Where are you going?
No, I know.
Anyway, this is the Holst Highland yarn. I do have a ball band, so I can talk about it, but this is a different color. So it's the Holst Yarn Highland, and it is 80% superwash Highland and 20% nylon. This is a different color. This one is, I think, lavender. The names are not on the bands. You just have to go like on their website and look at it. So they come in 50-gram colorways, and it's a very fine yarn. Like, although I said that, and it seems like I knit the same rows, but gosh darn, it felt like I knit on these socks forever. It just seemed like it took a really long time. Maybe it's because it's 3x1 rib, and that
because you said that when you did the work socks too,
right?
So I think felt like I just went the 3x1 rib.
Yeah. So and then one of the colors is called Shrew, and I think it's this one, and I don't know what the other one is called, but I'm sorry. I can get names and I'll put them up on my Ravelry page. I just didn't have the bands when I finished. And then this is the cream color is from Ravenswood Yarns, and it is called Naked. And this is the yarn that I spilled the salsa on when I was traveling. But I basically knit, I had about this much done before we left the house on Thursday. So I tackled all the way up to here on the plane. Plus I did something else, but I'm not going to talk about that. And then I put the heel in while I was at Kendall's, and I had just a couple of rows done. So basically on the plane yesterday, no, sorry, I went the wrong way. On the plane yesterday, I did all of this, and I finished the toe when I got home last night. They just feel amazing. And I know I have every confidence that they're going to wear really well. So I did make some pretty comprehensive notes on how I made them. They're very easy. I did not follow a pattern. I did use an afterthought heel, um, a forethought after knit heel.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that it's very similar to the Leo and Roxy pattern that
It
came with
is.
their work
Yes.
sock set.
Except theirs was a heel flap and gusset.
Yep.
And mine
Yep.
is not.
Yep.
So yeah, but you can go. I did put all the details on Ravelry, so you can go on and see that. And so, as I said, I bought 50-gram balls, and I have left. I didn't weigh it yet, but like I still have this much of the marl left, which is not really enough to do much of anything, but like a really decent amount that I'm going to get another pair of socks out of for sure, out of the taupe color. And I really like them. I highly encourage you to get some of that yarn. They're beautiful. It's a beautiful yarn, and it's really, really reasonably priced. I got this one. It was 20% off. So I think it was about $5 a skein. Okay. You?
I did finish. I finished my fairy bouquet.
Let me see.
Let me bring up the banner here. There.
Very pretty. Very pretty.
So it's not block jet, but it's all finished. So
Can
this is the fairy bouquet. This is the fairy bouquet by Joanna Ang. This is done in Gazelle Yarns Rock and Roll that I got in Turkey. It just had a color number, but it's basically a very pale blush pink color. And the yarn is acrylic and polyamide, and there's only 8% yarn in it, or yarn. There's only 8% wool in it. But it's got like a really nice sheen to it, and it just was kind of like I thought it was a perfect yarn for this sweater. The sweater, I love the way the sweater fits. I will get pictures for next week of it on, but I think that this construction fits really well. And this is the same construction as the ranunculus and the love note. And I'm wondering if that's why so many people have made them. So it is a partial yoke, like circular yoke, but then once you get under that, there's like a raglan shaping. So it's like a combination of the two, and it just fits so nice. So you've got like your majority of your increases here where you really need it to get your bust. And then you've got like the raglan that kind of, I don't know, you're not increasing as rapidly or all over. And I don't know, it just fits really nicely. So I at least for me, I find that this fits really nicely. But then when I see that many ranunculuses and that many love notes that are very similar construction, like you got to wonder if this is maybe a particular construction that fits well on a lot of body types. Mm-hmm. So, but really,
also it's just one that's fun to do. Like it's that one, like start at the top, go all the way down project, right?
Yeah. So, and this also has it's got a little design going down the side that goes all the way into the rib at the bottom.
Very pretty. I love that sweater.
So I'm not sure. I found, I like the look of the yarn. I didn't particularly like working with it. Like it seemed, I don't know whether it's the composition or what it's made of, but I found that in the wintertime, my hands are really dry, and I found it really catching on my hands. Like I found like I was reaching for hand cream all the time to put hand cream on. And I don't find that as much with 100% wool. So I don't know if it was just the particular makeup of this yarn. Now it is also kind of like a little bit of like one of those like tubular constructions. Mm-hmm. So I don't know whether it's the halo on it, but I just found that it just caught on my hands, and I didn't like that feeling. But now when I have it on and have it on my body, it doesn't bother me at all. And my hands are pretty dry right now, so I don't know if it's just a combination of that. But really loved this pattern. The yoke was fun to do. And then and the sleeves, even though they look like relatively complicated, the pattern was memorizable and you could read where you were. So I didn't need to have the chart open all the time to follow it for the sleeves. And there's no decreases. So you just kind of go all the way down, and then you do like a rapid decrease before you get to your cuff.
It's really pretty.
Thanks. I'll get that blocked, and I'll have some pictures for next week. So
okay, good.
And that was my only finish.
Well, the thing is, you know what? Like, I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but last week it's still on Holst.
Oh,
When
they're
I was talking,
cakes.
all of their cakes are on sale,
Cakes.
20% off. I almost dove back in, only
I did
because,
not. I did
only,
not.
I'll tell you what I almost dove back in on. I have some skeins of, I can see it. It's Bokhara and Venetian. The Venetian is the Titicaca and the Bokhara is the super soft. But then last week on KnitChat, I wore my ranunculus, which I used 2 strands of Coast and 1 strand of Titicaca. And I realized how much I love that sweater. And when they said the cakes were on sale, I very nearly, like, I got so near to it that I went on. I was determined, you know what, because I don't need any more cones. I was just going to buy enough cakes to make another ranunculus in those colors with the Coast. And the colorway that they said would go, that would coordinate with Venetian was Bourgogne. And
Okay.
unfortunately for me, it's out of stock. I would have to buy a whole cone. I don't need a whole cone. I just needed enough for my ranunculus sweater. So didn't pull the trigger on that. But if that color had been in stock, I would have bought, because I really like that ranunculus. And that's talking about that sweater, how much you like that style. It's, I get why people keep knitting that ranunculus.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. So, no more finishes.
No more finishes.
No more finishes.
Christine is saying, do I know how to recover dropped twin and or triplet stitches in the shadow wrap? The shadow wrap heel, I'm guessing you're talking about. I'm probably not the person to ask about that because I've only knit 1 shadow wrap heel, which I loved. Noelle, you've knit quite a few
I
pairs.
have,
you ever dropped one?
I have, but usually it's by the time I've realized that I've dropped it, I'm too far down. I usually just tink back to where it was. I haven't dropped down and fixed it. So I am not the person to ask about that. Because sometimes, and I probably could, but it would probably take me as long to figure out how to fix it as it would take me to tink back to where I made the mistake. So
yeah. Marianne says that she likes the fit of that sweater too. And
yes,
Marianne knit a gorgeous
she knit
one.
a gorgeous,
Hers, it's like a royal blue. It was absolutely beautiful.
So
hi, Chris.
Yes, I really
Chris
like it. So I'm gonna look for more sweaters with that. And it was interesting, right? Because you're always doing something different. Because first you're doing the round yoke with the pattern, and then you're into the raglan, and then the pattern continues down the sleeve. And even when you're doing the body, the pattern's down the sides of the body. So you kind of never get into that just stocking stitch. So it really didn't take that long to finish it up. So
okay.
Okay.
Linda's asking a question about the Holst yarn shrinking when you block it. I've not had the experience, but I know, and Noelle, for the most part, you haven't, but recently you did do a garment in
with
the
tides.
And we typically both have done this in the past. We spin out a garment before we block it. So just putting it in our washing machines, in a garment bag, a small garment bag, so it's not stretching the fabric of the sweater, and spin it out a little bit. And you did that this time.
And I did find that with the tides.
You did find that it shrunk a little bit.
And I don't recall whether I've done that with, because that in that instance, I was holding the tides double, which is why I did it, because it was quite a lot heavier. The sweater was probably almost 450 grams, where a typical fingering weight sweater done in the whole super soft is probably, for me, it's only about maybe 200 grams. So it's a lot lighter. So I find it's more manageable to kind of but roll it up in a towel and squish out as much water as possible. So I don't tend to put those in the spin cycle. The other one I did simply because of the weight of the sweater. And I did find that it did shrink lengthwise. Now I may have been able to reblock it by soaking it again and pulling it out, but it fit my daughter-in-law fine. So I didn't, but yeah. So handling the super soft by not putting it in anything, I haven't had a problem. But again, like different water temperature, different.
Yeah.
We can't say for sure that that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Spinning something out is probably not the preferred method for blocking, but I don't know about you. Well, I think I do. We're impatient blockers.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we want to get it done. So
Yep.
we do tend to spin things out. Probably we shouldn't be doing that.
Yep. So,
Oh,
okay.
Becky, I would have bought 4 cakes. Becky wanted to know how many cakes I would have bought. I would have bought 4. I think my last ranunculus I used 180 grams of coast. That's with the 2 strands being held. And so that would have been 4 cakes. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So, what are you working on?
Okay. So I'm not working on anything different because I wasn't here for most of the week and I didn't take anything with me. But what I can talk about, that is my next whip that I'm going after. I took this one with me. It got 0 knit time, but I'll pull it out and show it because I do find that when I show things, showing things makes me accountable to me, nobody else. So I pulled this one out and took with me because there's no reason that this isn't finished. This is the Tassels in the Sky shawl. Gorgeous shawl. This is the Full Moon Fibers yarn in the Lagoon,
Mm-hmm.
and Knit Picks mohair. No, not Knit Picks. Drops Kid Silk mohair in lavender. And it's beautiful. I have no reason that this is not finished. So I want to get this finished. That's not a lot of knitting. It's just me being, stop casting on things and start picking things up. I could be wearing this. Look at this. I love this. It's beautiful. I could be wearing this. So, like I said, I didn't work on it, but that's the next thing I'm going to work on. I've got other whips that I'm working on too, but I also have 3 sweaters on the go, and I need to finish one of them. This is getting. I want to wear them.
Yeah,
I need to finish. Okay. You?
Okay. Well, I did some more, and I'm not done them yet, but I did some more on my Andrea Mowry DRK Everyday sock.
Oh, DRK.
No, this is the Everyday. Okay. And this is the Prolana Atna, ATNA. And love the yarn. I love how it fades. I love just that stripe of color. I like this sock, but these are just fine. Like I've only ever worked on those when I'm going somewhere or I have to wait somewhere. So if I'm just at home, I'm usually not working on these, but they're a great project to take. This one is almost done. They've only got about another 10 rounds and that one will be done. So I did work on that because I think I was only here last time. So I did get some work done on that. And then I started my Christmas socks.
Oh, yay. I'm anxious to see these.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
So this pattern is called the Twizzler socks. Let me see if I can find.
I'll look.
Okay, you look. And there's also a picture. So this is the Twizzler socks. It's basically a drop stitch pattern. It's by Tangled Becca. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. And it's just like, you just slip stitch every so often. You can see the pattern a little better there. But this yarn is Timber Yarn's Twin Socks. So this is her. Pretty. This is her. It's called the Marl. So this has all the colors in it already. So that's all the colors because this year for the Christmas socks for everybody, all the individual colors, she's doing them so that you will have like, let's say the pink with the white marl or the black with the white marl or the orange. And she's got 10 different colors in it. And I've got 5 children and 5 spouses. So they're all going to get an individual color. And then this is all the colors together. So these ones are going to be for myself and for Ross. So these are Ross's because I'm going to do the men's socks first so that all the big ones are done.
Yes.
And then all the grandchildren are going to be a combination of their 2 parent colors. So the yarn is gorgeous. It feels amazing to work with. I love these colors together. I just love how it's looking. So beautiful. I do have I'm back to the gold down here again. So I do have a little bit of all the colors in there. I just started with her black licorice. So that's a solid that she does. And I just did like the cast on and 1 round, then went into a 1x1 rib and then into the slip stitch pattern for the leg of the sock. So I'm going to do, in this
It's
one,
so
I'm
pretty.
going to do the heel and the toe in the black licorice.
Yeah.
And I love it. So that's Timber Yarns, and yeah, Heather dyes amazing self-striping yarn, and I will put that website will be linked in the show notes too. So, but I just, it's so much fun. It's just like, oh, I just want to see the next stripe. I just want to see the next color. So
It's beautiful.
So I got those cast on. So, okay. So what do you have?
I said, that's it. Okay. Well, these are still sitting here.
I can't hear you, Kelly.
Something happened to you.
I wonder if it's maybe my
Did your batteries die?
Just a minute.
Because it got really staticky.
Again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. No? I don't know what happened. Yes, I can.
I can hear static now too. I don't know what happened. I have these still. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
This is my ongoing mystery. These are the bear paw socks. I think they're going to be too big. I'm going to take them out again. Third time's the charm.
Well, did you have them try them on?
No, but I can tell. Nobody's feet are this wide. Look at these things. Like, that's my hand. My hand is completely hidden behind them.
Okay, but it's a man's foot.
No man's foot is bigger than
I would still have them try them on before you rip them out.
I might, but I think they're too big. They're going to they're going down a needle size. And I haven't resolved this yet either, because as I said, basically after Knit Chat last week, I had the next day at work. And then that night I came home and tried to get organized because we were leaving in the morning. So I've still got this swatch to sort out for my beneath the waves vest. This is the swatch that I knit in Super Soft and Titicaca. So I still have to measure this and get this sorted out. So I've got all kinds of things on the go and really nothing to show other than that. But hey, this is a new week. Week.
Okay. Well, I started my Somerset sweater by Beth McDonald Stone. So
I'll look.
There we go. So there's the picture. So I have got it started.
It is a gorgeous sweater pattern.
It is.
It's maybe one of my favorites of her designs.
Okay. So I've only got a little bit done, but there's.
Oh, I'm loving that. I love that little pop of green. Yeah. Wow, that's gorgeous.
So hopefully I'll have more done next week that you can see it better. But this is, I'm doing it in Holst Garn Super Soft. My main color is the Cloudberry, which is what I've got on this cone and on my paper towel holder my cone sits on.
And you're holding this single, right?
Yes, I'm holding it single. And then my other colors are, this green is gorgeous. It's called Calypso. And then this is Ecru. Yes, Ecru. And where's my, this is Thistle Down. And then the other one I don't have with me because I'm not using it right at the moment. It's Sugar Snap. So I really, really like them together. It's a very fine gauge. So like I'm on a 3.25 millimeter needle. The ribbing was done on a 2.75 millimeter needle. And this color was hard to see on such a fine yarn. Like I needed daylight to see it. So yeah, so that's coming along. I'm looking forward to the finished sweater. It is 3/4 sleeve, so hopefully it won't take too long. But yeah, I'm really liking the colors together. So, and it's when you look at the sweater, if you've got enough for the body of the sweater, like all of your contrast colors really take very little yarn. So even if you've got leftovers from other projects, you can use it up in the yoke of the sweater. But I believe that she's hoping to have that out sometime in March. So
nice.
Okay. And then I started another sweater. So last week.
And I'm worried about socks that I have on the go. Come on.
Well, okay. But last week I went to Little Red Mitten to take all the samples that I had knit for them. And of course I came home with more samples to knit for them. So
what are you working on?
I started the Shift Again. by
Oh,
Andrea
yes.
Mowry.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes. I'll grab it.
yes, there's a banner and there's a picture, but I've already
Okay.
got it started. And that's why I wore my shift cowl today, because we're going to get into the yarns that I'm using.
Oh, you know what? You just can't
But
have enough shifty things. You just
no,
can't.
and they're so much fun to knit.
I know,
So,
right? And this is
okay,
a steeked cardigan, so you're going to
it
get to do
is.
your needle felter
That's
again.
right. This is a steeked cardigan. This is my main color. So
Mm.
this is violet. This is
Mhm.
the Juniper Moon Farms Patagonia Organic Merino. So that color is called violet. And here's,
Oh, wow.
up to the camera there.
I love it.
So there's my colors of far. So my contrasting colors are the Shoppo Edition 3. So look at that one. It's going to have, like, it's got some yellows and golds and
Gorgeous.
the purples and the greens. So that's one color, and they're all similar, but they've just got a little pop of something different in them. So this is my next color, and you can see it's got the blues and stuff in it.
Wow, that's so pretty.
But it's still got some of the green and the purple that will tie everything together. And then the third one is similar again. It's just got a little bit more of the golds and stuff in it.
Nice. I love purple and green together.
Oh, so do I. It's just
There's just something about that.
And again, this is another one. It's like, I just want to do the next one. I just want to have the next. I just want to do the next row. Now, this is different in her other shift patterns, because this one is actually stranded color work, whereas the other ones are mosaic.
Oh.
So this one is actually stranded color work.
Okay.
So the rows in between, you're not carrying colors, but the rows with the color, you are carrying 2 colors. So now what's different about this too is you've still got the purl stitches.
Yes.
So this is the color shifting yarn is my contrast. And when I do stranded color work, I always have my main color in my right hand and my contrasting color in my left hand.
Yep.
So, but then you've got rows where your contrast color has purl stitches.
Purling.
Yes. So, and because it's continental, I've had to go back and revisit the Norwegian purl. And I must say, I'm really getting the hang of it. Like, it's going so much faster, and it was so much fun to just do a different stitch. It just, like, a new stitch just made my day. It just
doesn't take a lot, friends. Does not take a lot.
Oh, no. But it is. And I'm like, and guess what? Ross doesn't care.
No, really? Imagine that.
He doesn't care. He does not care.
He's not nearly as excited as you are about a new stitch? No.
Oh, and gosh, it is.
Ross.
I'm like, I get to do the row with the purl stitches again.
Did Ross order a laser printer yet?
No, but I have to show you something. So anyway, we should finish this first. This is the shift again. Super, really enjoying it. And yeah, Julie, even look at the wrong side, even looks.
Oh, so nice.
Even looks good. It's so much fun. Here's my my steek down the front, right? So your steek is just in stocking stitch down here. And again, I will felt that the same way I did with the other. I'm going to look for some ribbon to cover the steek when I'm done with it. And I think it should be neat to find some really neat multicolored buttons to go on this. It'll look really cool. This is a sample for Little Red Mitten, but it will eventually be mine.
Also, I remember reading when Andrea Mowry, because I subscribed to her emails, she talks about this sweater and its steek. And she said, this is a very beginner friendly steek. She has made that steek extra wide.
Yeah, it is.
So that you don't have to worry if it's your first time steeking. Don't be afraid, be bold, jump right in. And she said that she has left lots of room for the steek.
You can see that you've got 3 rows of the contrast that you see every row. So even for your cutting, it's going to be right up that middle stitch of your contrast color.
Yes.
So you're going to see exactly where to cut it. So yeah.
Nice.
Anyways,
very nice.
So much fun. I'm really, really enjoying it. So, okay. So hopefully I'll have more done on that next week. And then the other thing, when you talked about the laser printer, he did not get a laser printer, but my son-in-law is working on some things for me. I'll just show you here. So he's made me these sock blockers.
Oh my goodness.
So again, I've got it here, but it's easier to see the cutout on the picture there. So here's the blocker. And again, this is a kid's one. So it's got I can take that out, make different widths on it. And this is the second one, because the first one that I showed last week in the white was a little bit thick. So we've made it thinner, and he can cut out the knits and pieces on it. But we've gone through and we're looking at different colors of the, whatever this is, plastic, I guess, that you put onto a 3D printer. So these are done on a 3D printer. So he sent me a link for all different colors, and there's like such a pretty like rainbow one. And then he sent me, he sent me all the pinks. So I think we might look at making some of these up for some podcast prizes.
Fun.
So I don't think he wants to do it. I don't think he wants to do it as a full time, like, sell it on the side, because that gets into a lot of. But it would be perfect for us to have to like use for giveaways.
Absolutely.
So
those are amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You have so much talent in your family. Like it isn't just you. You've got talented people in your family.
But yeah, so that was kind of cool. I was really excited about that because I had no idea he was going to put the logo in it when I was down there this past
I'm going to admit, I am more excited about the sock blockers than I am about you learning a new stitch. Not going to lie.
Okay, well, I was excited about the sock blocker on the weekend, and then I learned the new stitch after that. So it was like a perfect week.
Perfect.
Okay, that's it for what I'm working on. I did not work on my burra cowl this week. I got too caught up in the 2 sweaters and my new timber yarns rainbow sock, or my marled sock. I got too caught up on that, but I will get back to it because I do want to have it done. It will be finished to take to the mini meetup in Chicago. So
very nice. Very nice.
So
good.
Yeah. So did you buy anything?
I didn't.
Neither did I. I did not.
It's been a quiet week. Like I said, I had no time.
And I mean, I even went into Little Red Mitten and dropped all that stuff off, and I didn't even buy anything. I mean, I came home with sweaters to knit for them, but
yes. Yeah, very good.
So, because that's one, but I've also got 4 other sweaters that I'm doing for them.
You're doing 4 other sweaters.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
So,
well, I'll have to stop by because I want to see them.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll show those once I get started. Actually, I don't have to have them done. Like they're actually going to be, Leo and Roxy's going to Montreal.
Oh, they are. We were talking about that and we weren't sure. Yes. Very good. Very good. That's exciting.
So these are sweaters. These are sweaters that they're going to be taking for their booth in Montreal. So I've got some time. I can take some of them to New Zealand with me to work on them, and they're fingering weight sweaters. So it's actually a good weight to take with me to work on.
Very nice.
So that's the plan.
Okay. Good.
Okay. So we should probably talk about our knit-alongs. Yep. Okay.
I'll go grab some banners in here. Okay. Socks.
Okay. So we have our ongoing sock make-along, and it started January 1st of this year. It runs till December 31st. You can just, every time you finish a pair of socks, put them in. Doesn't matter when you started them. You just need to finish them and put them in. There is a discussion thread on Ravelry for finished objects. There's also a thread for chat. So once you've got them done, just pop them in that finished object thread. And we draw prizes at the end of every month for both a pattern by Natalie of Remembrances Pottery and a sock yarn prize. So, and then when we draw at the end of the year, we go back. Well, actually every month we actually go back to the beginning of January to draw. So the more pairs you get in there, the more chance you have to win a prize.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And I have something stuck in my throat. Aside from my plugged ear, now I've got something in my throat. We are also hosting for the first 3 months of this year, January, February.
Oh, we decided on all year.
Did I get that memo?
We decided that last week, Kelly.
Well, Okay, so we're hosting this for the whole year, friends.
We said we're going to draw prizes at the end of every 3
Yes,
months.
that's right. Who can literally smash their stash in only 3 months?
Right. But for that one, when we draw the prizes, it's just going to be on a 3-month basis. Right.
Yeah.
Because we want to encourage you to keep using your stash.
Yeah. So we're going to draw prizes. My guess is that the prize is that you're going to get more stash back.
No. I thought we could do a bag for the prize. We could do bags for the prizes. That way we're not increasing your stash. We're just giving you a new project bag.
I really don't think I got that memo.
I did. I just decided. I decided that while you were away.
Okay. Why am I even here? It's a one-woman show.
Oh, no. It just makes more sense on a smash your stash, not to give them more stash.
Okay. So smash your stash. It had to be, am I getting this right? That it had to be in your stash before December 31st or before January 1st of 2023. Had to be in your stash. And
and you have to use at least 50 grams.
50% of it has to 50, but
no, you have to use 50 grams. You just have to use 50 grams of stash yarn.
I'm going to take some notes this week so I can do better next week.
There is a thread on Ravelry that's got all the rules in it there.
Maybe I'll go read that. Oh gosh.
We just want everybody, we just want you to use your stash. We're not telling you not to buy yarn, but enjoy the yarn that you have too.
Well, you know what? If you have a stash, I'm guessing you're a whole lot like me and Noelle. You go looking for something, and on the way to find the something, you're going to find trinkets and treasures that you forgot you had. That's what happens to me. And then I'm like, seriously, how have I had this in stash that long? Like, I need to get that out. I was looking for something last week, and on the way there, I found things that I really want to get knitting with. So I have lots of nice items in my stash. I don't need to be out buying more. Like again, not saying that I'm not going to. We do know that we're going some places this year. I absolutely guarantee things are coming home with me from those places. But I want to dig into my stash. I loved the stuff when I bought it. It's time to use it.
I know. That's right.
Absolutely.
I know, but they just keep coming out with like more and more nice yarns. And I mean, we're so worried that if we don't buy it, we're not going to get it. But
more new things will come out. Yeah.
I know. So.
Okay. And we have a third Cal going along, and I'm not even going to attempt this. I'm going to put the banner up, and Noelle's going to tell you what it's all about.
So our next Makealong is the Marie Wallen Makealong, or the Burakawa Makealong. And for that one, you need to do a Marie Wallen or a Susan Crawford pattern. So I had someone ask me if you could crochet, and definitely you can crochet, because I know Marie Wallen has crochet patterns. I'm not sure about Susan Crawford, but all you have to do is one of those projects. I haven't set up the thread yet, but I will do that this week. And it is going to run for the whole year because a lot of the projects are quite complex. I have started my Burra Cowl, and I hope that I get time through the year to do possibly another Marie Wallen project, but I keep getting distracted by a lot of other projects, but we'll see. I might. There's definitely other patterns of hers that I want to knit. There are also quite a few other podcasters that are also doing this type of a cowl as well. Some of their rules might be slightly different than ours, but the other podcasts involved are 3-Ply Podcast, Around the Table Yarns, Dude Knits, Frivolous and Frugal, Got Whips, Knits and Pieces is us, Magpie's Cottage, Pandemic Knitter, and PJ Knits. So if you go to their, I believe most of them do have YouTube channels, or who's the only one that may not? I'm not sure if Around the Table does. Around the Table Yarns is a yarn store. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so if you go to their channels or go to their Instagram, you can find out information about what are the particular criteria around their Makealong. So, but for ours, we just want you to do either a Marie Wallen or a Susan Crawford pattern. So, and again, if you use stash yarn, you can put it in the Smash Your Stash as well as the Marie Wallen.
Double dip.
That's right. So same with your socks. If you do your socks from stash, you can put it in
double dip.
Smash Your Stash. Yep. So.
Okay.
Okay, so that's it for knit alongs that we have in progress.
Sharon says, sorry, go ahead.
No, Sharon said what? She was
Sharon
excited about
says,
the pearl stitch too.
oh yeah, jumping for joy, actually. No, she said that her husband wore hand knit socks for the first time on the weekend and he loved them. So now she recognizes that means much more knitting for her.
Yes. Yeah.
And Rosie says there has to always be a straight person in the duo. I guess that's me. Oh my goodness. And Sarah also loves shopping her stash. Who doesn't love shopping stash? Sarah says that she disagrees. Yarn is always an amazing prize, Noelle.
Well, yes, it is, but I think it sort of contradicts the Smash Your Stash Cal.
It does, but that's okay. Did anybody see the Rose Hill Yarns update this week? I abstained, but
I didn't even look.
Gosh, she had some pretty colors. She really had some pretty colors. Oh, and Sarah, look at Sarah. Sarah was in Toronto on Sunday and she drove right past the knitting loft and was forbidden to stop by her husband and son. They're so evil. My son-in-law kept offering to take me to the yarn store in Chilliwack. He kept saying, "You sure you don't want to go? I can take you." I'm like, "No, I'm okay for right now, but I will.
Yeah.
I will go next time."
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, well, the shop. It's fun buying the yarn. That's just the problem. It's
buying the yarn,
buying it,
and
but
knitting with the yarn, and then collecting the yarn and curating the yarn. That's 3 different hobbies right there.
I know, but it's like at some point my house is going to get too small.
It is, but it's also pretty, like, if you do have a stash and you're able to kind of like look at it, like, not that this is indicative of my stash, honestly, but it's like I sit here and I can see all of my tote bins of yarns over there, and it's kind of, I don't know, you get some inspiration from looking at that too. And, some people like to have flowers in their house. I'm happy with yarn bouquets down here in my studio. Happy all the time.
Like I said, putting it all away today was just a little bit overwhelming because I knew I had purchased a lot, but when you see it, because I kind of divided it all out into weights for putting it away, and I just was, wow. That's a lot of yarn.
I started that way. Like, I had a tote box for fingering, then I had a tote box for DK, and then I had a tote box for worsted. But then I had to add a tote box for knit picks. Then I added a tote box for mohair. Then I opened up 2 tote boxes for sweater quantities. What else did I move to? Well, then I divided my fingering into commercial fingering and hand-dyed fingering. So that's an extra tote box there. And then there's things that don't really fit in other categories. So they needed their own tote box. And then I started a project of having small tote boxes with projects in there, with yarn already pulled to go for the project. And I have 10 of those on the go. I think I've used up 3 of them for projects that I said I was going to do 3 years ago. And the rest of them are still housing.
Well, my bins are all,
I need to knit more.
My bins are all labeled like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then 1A, 2, 1A, 1B, 1C, but the 1s are all lace, the 2s are all fingering, the 3s are all sport, the 4s are DK, the 5s are worsted, and the 6s are chunky or bulky.
Yeah. Oh, so you've listed your boxes by weight. Well, I mean, I guess I could do that too. Yeah. Mine are by weight, but the number of those boxes have certainly grown. So
yeah, but like all my fingering boxes start with a 2, so it's 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D. And then they're all on.
How far do they go, Noelle?
Well, I'm not done yet. Anyway, so then I have it on Ravelry. So then it tells me what bin it's in. So I can go right to the bin that it's in and locate it. Yeah. So
very nice.
Anyway.
Okay.
Well, Susan says she loves organizing. I don't like organizing. It's just to the point where it has to be done. So.
Well, I like it when it's done being organized.
Yes.
Like when I enter a big amount into my Ravelry stash, then there's something so satisfying about that. Just like, oh, look what I did. And nobody gets that excitement. Like, that's certainly something Ross is not going to get excited. Well, he might be happy to get it off the spare bed, but he's not going to get excited.
He's excited about it being put away.
Yes.
but not at the fact that I can find it again.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway.
Okay. All right.
Well,
I think we've I've tried to keep up with the comments tonight, hopefully, because I
Yep,
did
and
so
I
poorly
will.
with other things, but I kept up with comments. So there,
Yeah,
I feel satisfied.
if you do have any questions, like I do go through the comments, and if there's questions to answer, you can either email them to us at knitsandpiecespodcast@gmail.com,
Oh yes, let me
or
pull.
pop them underneath the video. Sometimes I do get a chance to go back through and watch, and then depending on how many comments there are, go through them in case we've missed anything. I didn't have a chance to watch us again from last week, but I will try and get back to that. So yeah, so that if there are any questions, we make sure that we get, if we don't know the answer, someone will. Most likely someone will know the answer and not us, like the 3-ply helical knitting.
And if you're
But
still
yeah, because I
hanging,
mean,
if you are still hanging out in here, all 453 people in here still, it would be super kind if you would just reach down below on your device and hit the thumbs up. That's really great for our channel. That gives a lot of other people an opportunity. The algorithm for YouTube is the generally the more comments a podcast gets, or the more likes a comment or a podcast will get, then they will show it to more people. So then that way other people can benefit from what we do, or
I mean, we're
laugh at
so
it.
lucky to have everybody in here because, like I said, when the questions come, it seems like somebody always has the answer. So it's
Yes,
like, it's amazing. Like, we've learned so many things. Like I just thought this tip with these little elastics was genius.
genius. And
Yeah.
lots of people came up with the same idea. So clearly we
Well,
haven't
you
thought
just
it out
don't
on our
know
own.
until someone tells you, right? So,
Yeah,
but,
fantastic. So,
and I just want to say, like, try that Norwegian purl. It will change
okay.
your life.
I'm going to get on that. I'm going to wind up the podcast here tonight. I'm going to go in and do those time codes, and then I'm going to go watch a video on Norwegian Purl. And I'm going to wait for
Okay.
my world to be absolutely rocked. Okay.
You will. You'll probably be texting me going, "You are right." Anyway.
Okay. Well, thank you
Okay.
so much for joining us tonight, everybody. We so appreciate you
Yeah, we so
taking
appreciate
time to
everybody
spend time with us.
putting up with us, dropping things, turning off things.
Turning off things. Yeah. Not knowing what our make-alongs are. But we have a lot of fun doing this, and we wouldn't be doing it without all of you. And we appreciate how much the community has grown, and how warm-hearted everybody is, and how helpful everybody is. And
I just want to say Susan's looking up the Norwegian Purl. Anyway, okay, enough.
We're deep into the Canadian goodbye now. This is goodbye number 5, but yeah,
Okay.
we're on our way. We will be back again with more shenanigans next Tuesday, and maybe another finish from Kelly. Yay!
Yep. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Happy knitting.
Happy knitting.